Hello. So today we are going to see as part of this tutorial what is MCP connectors, okay, which is widely getting used or we are seeing this, okay. So here in this tutorial we are going to see how we can use the MCP connectors, which is the latest version, okay, and the latest version, if I am not wrong, it is 1.2.0, okay. So if you see, I have already added what all activities, or we can say the palettes, which is provided by this MCP modules, okay. So there are mostly broadly we can able to see it is two parts. One is the MCP client, okay, which is going to deal with the client. As a client means invoking the third party MCP server. It's not only the third party, we can also invoke our the MCP server which has been designed and developed into the in Mule 4, okay. But we can also, by using the MCP client, we can able to see that to how we can invoke into this third party MCP server. But as part of this videos, we are only going to concentrate on the MCP server, okay, and we are not going to see these two things on new session listener or resource listener. That I am going to cover into the next video, okay. But as part of this, we are only going to see how we can create our MCP server using the tools listener, okay. So first of all, make sure we have this in our pom.xml, this MCP connectors, okay. Once it is going to there, okay, make sure we are going to use the MCP connect server as a global configuration element. Once you are going to edit it, what you are able to see, okay, here we can able to see as a two types of connections. One is the estimable STTP, okay, one is the SSC, okay. Estimable, where we have to like synchronous processing is required, and we can able to like if your payload is huge, you can make it the streaming enabled, so you can able to get into the chunk as well. Whenever you need like the asynchronous processings where the push pull concept was required, then we are going to see the SSC one, okay. As part of this videos, we are going to focus on the estimable STTP, okay. So each MCP server internally use one of the STTP listeners, okay. This is the reason, if you see here, I have nothing a special treatment, just our the normal STTP, okay. I'm not using any security or like TLS configurations, okay. We need to make sure that this MCP endpoint is going to end with the MCP once we are going to use the estimable STTP server. Suppose if we are going to change as SSC, okay, which is the this events, okay. So if you see, this is going to by default change SSC endpoint as a SSC, because that is required like whenever you are going to connect with your MCP server with LLM client, okay, or like the any MCP client, okay. So this is the endpoint through which we can able to identify whether the server which is deployed as a MCP is using what type of the connections, either using estimable STTP or using the SSC one, okay. The response content type, we have the two flavors. One you can use the JSON and one you can the SSC, which is the default one, but here I have using the JSON one, okay. If suppose you want to make sure that this as part of the response, when it is coming from the MCP, it should hold certain type of the headers which is going to identify the results, or like which is coming from the actual MCP, or maybe some kind of the constant or dynamic. So we have this provision, we can able to say this, okay. And as part of this general, we need to make sure that we are going to provide two important things. One is the server name, that is the arbitrary, you can put any like user friendly server name, and what is your server versions, okay. Apart from that, I think these all are the configurations which is required as per the like requirements, okay. But I kept it for as part of my demo as a default ones, okay. You can like we have this privilege, like we can able to increase request timeout, reconnection strategy, so all this, but I am keeping this all this default settings, okay. So that's it. So just let me explain about my use case, what I'm doing. So I wanted to present here one of the MCP server where I am like handling the case management kind of. Okay, so what is kind of case management means, like we can able to create the case. Okay, I am exposing my MCP server or tools, I will say, like we can able to create the case, you can able to fetch the case against the case ID or case numbers or update. Okay, so let's first see this, what are all the use case we are going to see. So here you can see I have given this Mule MCP server fetch case details. So we are going to fetching the case query from the Salesforce. Okay, so like a Salesforce connector is also required. Okay, if you see here, like Salesforce connector is there. Okay, so nothing a special treatment, whatever we used to do in our normal API to connect with the Salesforce, similar kind of the treatment we are going to do here. Okay, and the second thing is how we can be able to create the case into the Salesforce. Okay, this is a small ping server test. Okay, this is the how we can able to fetch case by a status flow. Like suppose think from that scenario, like suppose fetch me all the new cases which are available. So in that way we can able to see this. We can able to update the case, like suppose once case is registered as a new, okay, I can able to like working, escalated, closed, these kind of things. Okay, here the different flavor of the another flavor of the fetching the case by case ID. Okay, and here we like suppose if any analyst is going to add, like think from that scenario whether you are going to connect this MCP server with LLM client like Cursor and you want to update some things on the case, we can be able to do like the add case comment. Like suppose some analysis is going to provide some recommended solution from the Cursor. Okay, and or like any winds of cloudy. Okay, so we have this privilege, we can able to add this case comment over there. Okay, uh, then after we can able to see the fetch case resolutions, like suppose if case has been resolved, okay, what are the comments has been provided there, we can be able to fetch this case one. Okay, and one last I have kept, although it should be part of the, like we can club, but as part of the demo I have club, but ideally we should keep like the separate, we should not do the like I think all the different system related MCP into the one. Okay, but just as part of the demo I wanted to show what are the all the configurations is required to do for MCP. Okay, so let's we will take the first fetch case. Okay, so here I will say as part of this MCP I have used this tool listeners, because this has the features of the we can able to like exposing our endpoint, you can say, or as a tools. Okay, which have this like the read and write operations. Okay, and these like suppose just I'm telling theoretically this is the something the resource listeners. Okay, where this is only going to provide the read only operations. Okay, so this is tool nothing but as a kind of the endpoint. Okay, which is into the natural language we are exposing in front of the like MCP compatible like the client, we can able to understand these tools. Okay, and they can communicate it. Okay, so once you are going to drag this MCP over here, okay, you can see what all configuration is required. So first of all you need to put the connector configuration, which is our MCP server. This is the name is nothing but it is going to appear whenever you are going to use the MCP client or Cursor anywhere. Okay, uh, I'm taking the Cursor name because mostly I have done all this POC or testing by using the Cursor. Okay, so like suppose here is a name, so name is nothing but your tools name, which is going to expose like whenever you are going to connect any MCP client or your LLM client is going to connect with the MCP server. So this must be a unique and purposefully, so we can able to understand what is the purpose of this. We can provide the descriptions what is the purpose of this tool. Okay, and these are the parameters we can able to see. This is the generic parameters. Okay, where we can able to define the what is the request schema. Okay, which is going to come as part of this. So if you see here, this is the schema like by default this is the mandatory one where the namespace kind of things we need to provide, we need to give the type, what type of the request is this tool is going to accept. Okay, so here is the object. Okay, what are the different properties, which is nothing but the fields out of these properties which are the required. So in this flavor of these tools I have kept like the very generic, so it is good to like accept any kind of the objects. Okay, you need to also configure, make sure that what kind of response you are going to expect from these tools. Okay, so once you are going to see here different uh, response are there, like suppose add text tool response content, add image, like suppose you have created one this MCP tool which is handling for the image, so you have the all option to add image tool response content. Okay, so you are going to get the image like which is the like in the bytecode format. Okay, here is the add text resource tool response content along with also the blob. So but here like as per requirement we are good to put here. I have put as a, if you see this this is the first one, this I have marked as a payload.raw. Okay, so whatever the response is coming I am good to like take it. Okay, and rest, these all configurations are related with your normal API, whatever like how we have developed. If you see here this fetch case details, it is nothing but just a plain query which is fetching all the details and the relevant details from a case, nothing else. Okay, this is our this logger just for the to make these informations, and just whatever I'm fetching I'm converting into the JSON and I'm logging it. That's it. Okay, so this we have seen like the very generic one. Okay, let me quickly show you like suppose create case. Okay, so in this create case if you see my name is different. Okay, and here I have defined this schema. Okay, so it's better to make it copy over here. Okay, okay, go to here and then I am going to show it. Okay, see, so this is the mandatory one which we need to give it. Okay, which tells us that the schema has been started. This is the type of the object, it is dealing with the properties, is nothing but what all the fields which this tools is going to accept from the client. Okay, so here the subject name, description, so origin, status, priority, account ID, contact ID, and if you notice that I have put entire things into the required, means it is required to accept this request, otherwise it is going to fail. If any fails which you which are the optionals, okay, which is optional, so you don't require, we don't need to put into this section. That's it. Okay, so if you see here I have put it. Okay, a similar way here the payload tools response content text payload.raw I have mentioned it. Okay, rest everything is like whatever we have done. Okay, let's see here, like we have this privilege to like redelivery advance, you can like the similar to others like our source connectors we can able to give this. Okay, so similar way if you see here like page case details by case status, similar way like here nothing is required. Okay, I haven't put any things. Okay, in response I have marked as a like payload.raw. Okay, so that is also, if you see update case status, let's see here most of the things. Yeah, here if you see update case status, so what I have pushed it as a schema defining, so here I'm asking, okay, you need to define the case ID along with the status. Okay, and both are mandatory, so in that case it is going to update the case status against the case ID, so it is validating for the case ID this. Okay, so this is the similar way for the fetch case details ID this. Okay, similar way to like add case comment. Okay, and these are the some query. Okay, okay, how we can able to, so maybe here I have put the query, or maybe I am putting some sending directly content and it is updating this directly putting into the case content as a payload, so that is doing. Okay, and what is the schemas I have there. Okay, so if you see here schema against what it is going to Okay, so here you can say I need to send this parent ID is published, these three things I need to send it, and comment body, then it is going to add this case comment into there. Okay, similar to fetch case resolution. Okay, so for fetch case resolution we need to give the case ID. Okay, and case ID is required, and what are the query? So okay, so I'm fetching parent ID create apply from case comments. Okay, where the parent ID case ID. Okay, so I'm getting this case comment, like suppose once it is closed or case, so we can able to get it this case ID. Against the case ID, what is the comment? Similar way. Okay, so this email one is the interesting one, although I have clubbed here, but I should not. But so email one, if you also see the schema, I have what I have mentioned. I need the subject. Okay, I need the body, I need the two. These all are required. Okay, to whom I need to send, what is the body, what is the subject, and this is the my email configurations. Okay, which basically I have put some default value, and if you see here what the body, and this is the some payload dot subject payload dot body which is coming, I'm sending it as a text dot plain. So this is the how we can able to do this MCP configurations. Okay, and it is pretty much simple, like how we are going to deploy it locally. Okay, and how we are going to like deploy it into the any point platforms. Okay, so that is the similar case you can able to deploy over there. Okay, and whenever it is going to, let me show you how we are going to deploy it. Okay, yeah, so here the I think on the any point platforms you can be able to see. Okay, I have already deployed. Okay, so nothing a special treatment while you are going to deploy, similar to, so here I have taken as a cloud hub to deploy these things. Okay, and if you see, this has been like running few of the test cases I have executed, so here is the response. Okay, so like all the tools, how we can able to see like whenever my MCP server has been deployed, where all the tools are available, what all tools are. Okay, so to quick check, suppose I have already configured this deployed version of the MCP server. Okay, into the cursor. Okay, once I'm going to add it into, if you see here the preview MCP. Okay, once I'm going to see this, so if you compare this fetch case details, create case record, fetch case details by status, update case, these all are nothing but all the naming convention which we have already mentioned in our, like suppose fetch case details. Okay, this is the create case details. Okay, so this name is very important. Okay, it is going to map each and individual your tools which you have defined. Okay, as part of your MCP client, whether it is you are using any like Mule client, any third-party client, or your LLM client. Okay, so this through this way we can be able to. Okay, just quickly demo here, like suppose if I'm going to add the context. Okay, and I'm giving the prompt. Okay, show me all open cases. Let's see, I'm giving show me all open cases. So let me see whether it is able to fetch case details, not needed. Okay, sometimes happen because long times. Okay, let me see. Okay, so it is fetching this case details. Okay, so it is saying let me try fetch details. Okay, fetch detail. Okay, so suppose it tried first fetch case details and something like happened wrong, not sure. So now it's trying another way, fetch case details by status. So it's quite intelligent, like whenever we are going to connect with the MCP server with the LLM client, it's quite intelligent, like it has the capability to like internally redirect whether the context based or content based. Okay, so you can be able to see like it's try with the fetch case details, maybe internally some problem, either it with your MCP server or with the LLM client, we're not sure. Okay, but it also find, okay, let's move from this way. Okay, let's I can see like the we have the another fields like tools which are available, fetch case details by status, and it is trying to fetch from this. Okay, so this is the output which is coming from the JSON, and now how smartly it's converted the JSON into the this natural language. okay, and it's giving here. So that's it. Hope you are going to follow this MCP server concept, and you can able to implement and understand how this MCP server into the Mule 4 is going to work. Thank you.